time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
The 49ers have 5 elites, right? Like the roster construction, there are 5 elite players who you can make the argument are the best at their position across the NFL. Like there's 5 of them. It was Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. Like those 5. Like any given time, they could be the best player at their position. Then you got the quarterback. And Brock Purdy, I don't think that he's there yet, but I think that he could get there. But this roster countdown is going to upset people. Every single year, when we get to this top 6 area, it gets a little spicy. And I struggle with it too, because the criteria is who is the most important for the 2025 season for the 49ers. That's it. Not what you've done, even though you have to base it off that track history, the record, all that stuff. But who's most important for this year? And George Kittle comes in number 6, and I feel like he is slighted. Now, in our 4 composite rankings this year, he was ranked 6th, and 5th. But if you had George Kittle number 2 or number 1, I'm not upset with you. And, in our 4 years, in 2023, he was 5th. In 2023, he was 7th. Last year, he was 6th, and he's 6th again. The tight end is not one of the most premier positions in the NFL, but in Kyle Shanahan's offense, it sure as hell is. And so George Kittle, who has missed time, and I mean, come on, 6 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, 2 second-team All-Pros. He has the 8th most Pro Bowls ever for a tight end. All time. He's 1 Pro Bowl away from the great Charlie Sanders, and he's 2 Pro Bowls away from Antonio Gates and Shannon Sharp. Like, he's getting that. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Like, you throw out the accolades and the hyperbole and whatever else. In my opinion, it is biased for sure. I'm very biased. George Kittle, in my opinion, is the second best all-around tight end in NFL history. I would go Gronk 1, go George Kittle 2. You need extra left tackle? No problem. George Kittle blocks defensive ends for fun. You can watch him pancake Aiden Hutchinson out there and just laugh at him and then make fun of him and smile the whole time doing it. You want to watch the receiving prowess and the touchdowns? No problem. And it broke the record for most receiving yards ever for a tight end. The guy can do it all. You want to talk about camaraderie and team captain and positivity? Off the charts. You want to talk about off the field, what he does with wrestling, created tight end awareness to the sport, ambassador, checkmate. Talking about his wife, his family, like, good gosh. What else could you possibly want from George Kittle? And on top of all those things, he was a late-round Jim. He's late round. One of the many 5th round kind of wonder. He was the 9th tight end drafted the year he was drafted. And anybody who says he is not the best tight end in today's NFL is an absolute moron. And all they care about is fantasy football. He got robbed. He's been robbed twice of first-team All-Pros, but that's the way it is. Sports writers have way too much power, and they do not watch tape. We know who George Kittle is. We love this man. He's incredible. Wears jersey number 85, and probably one of the most prominent, jerseys you'll see out there. And, we go to all these road games, and I always get questions that, what's the best way to get, autograph? The question is always, how do I get George Kittle's autograph? Like, he is the fan favorite. He's up there. 6'4", 250, 31 years old. He is a little bit long in the tooth, but he just signed an extension, and he's entering into year 9. My favorite thing about the extension is it almost guarantees he will be a decade-long Niner, which is so important. If you ever make it into the 49ers locker room, you'll see a wall, 10-year Niners. That is what it means to be a 49er, and George Kittle is the very definition. High school, kind of traveled around a lot, went to Norman High School for the Tigers, but moved around, and it's got some Iowa connections and whatever else, and so he went to college back in Iowa with the Hawkeyes, raised in Madison, Wisconsin, earned all-state, all-district, all-conference honors as a senior. He was 2 varsity letters playing tight end, wide receiver, linebacker. That kind of makes sense. He has a linebacker mentality and a defensive back. Helped his team reach state playoffs as a junior and senior. He was the team captain as a senior, member of the Dean's List. And you talk about his parents, Jan and Bruce. His father, Bruce Kittle, a former Iowa offensive lineman back in the 70s and 80s. He was a co-captain for Iowa when they won the Rose Bowl in 1982. That was the year I was born. And, George has talked a lot about how his dad, Bruce, writes him a letter prior to each game that he plays. And, George reads it while he's on the bus to the stadium. He won't share what the letters are about, but, just beautiful. And shoot, the family, Kittle's cousin, Henry Krieger Coble, he signed with the defensive Broncos as an undrafted free agent back in 2026. He was a tight end with Kittle at Iowa. And then Kittle marries Claire Kittle, who, they were together at the University of Iowa. She played basketball. And I tell you what, man, that lady's just as famous as he is almost. It's incredible. Just a great power couple. But back to George Kittle, he was one of 9 seniors named to the 2016 Iowa Leadership Group, academic All Big Ten 3 times consecutively. He won the 49ers Lynn Eshmon Award. That's voted on by the players who best exemplifies inspirational and courageous play. Yeah, that's what he is. You know what I mean? That's just awesome. And so, you go back through what George Kittle did to get to the NFL, 5th round pick, used as a blocking tight end at Iowa, and goes from being a blocking tight end to, breaking records for most receiving yards in a game, most receptions by a tight end, whatever you want to, he just he just brings it all. Now, I talked about wrestling earlier, but he's talked about how Pinta El Zorro Miero, I'm pretty sure I butchered that name, is his favorite wrestler. And that's where you see Kittle do that, his hand sign after the catch where he puts the 3 fingers up with the 0 and points down. That's the Cero Miedo, which means zero fear, no fear. That's the idea. No fear. Go over the middle. Awesome. And so he's talked about that a lot. I was in the Mexico City game, and I thought that was huge because when the 49ers played there, everybody had their luchador mask on and all that stuff, and it was just so cool, man. It's just awesome. Heart and soul of the 49ers team. And, Kyle Shanahan talks about it all the time and just how positive he is. But, man, just such a stud. And here's probably the best news. George Kittle's fully healthy. He has been absolutely incredible all throughout training camp, and he is going into this season prime. Just signed the extension. I know he's 31, but last year was George Kittle's probably best year since 2018. So the signs of aging are not there. Finally healthy. And again, this is 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. Come on. This dude is awesome. He was 11th in Offensive Player of the Year for voting. Incredible. PFF gave him the Dwight Stevenson Award back in 2019. Goes to the best player in the NFL, according to PFF, regardless of position. Okay, here we go. Let's do some more accolades. 94.3 receiving grade the past 7 years. First among tight ends. Not even close. 84.5 run blocking grade combined the last 7 years. First among tight ends. Kittle's him. However you want to look at it. Now, he was drafted in the 5th round of 2017, 146th pick. Same round as Trent Taylor and Eric Saubert. You see what I'm saying? Awesome. He's got the 2nd most receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, not just for tight ends of that draft, wide receivers, running backs, you name it. He's number 2. Only Cooper Kupp has more, and not by a lot, to be honest with you. He's close to passing him, and I think he will pass him. Just unbelievable what he has accomplished. Career stats for George Kittle: 538 receptions, 7,380 yards, 13.7 yards per catch is off the charts, 45 touchdowns. He's 105 starts in 113 games. He didn't start some of those rookie year games, but he started every damn game since. That's for damn sure. And, he's had 2 elite years. I think that he's had several of this, of all of his seasons good, but the 2018 season, 88 catches, 1,377 receiving yards, broke the record, 5 touchdowns. That was awesome. But then last year, if you're just looking statistically, I think it was his second best statistical year. 78 catches, 1,106 receiving yards, 14.2 yards per carry. That is all. That's his third best of his career. 8 touchdowns. Only 15 games he did that in. You had one, like, last year was just huge. Now, the injuries are a big deal. And he does miss time. He misses time. There's no doubt about it. He's only had 1 year, 2018, and that was like his best year where he played every single game. Rookie year, 2017, missed 1 game. 2019, 2 games. 2020, 8 games. 2021, 6 games, went on season-ending IR. 2022, missed 2 games. Now, 2023, last year, or 2 years ago, he missed early on. He had that off-season core muscle surgery. And then in 2024, missed 1 game but played through an ankle, hamstring, and foot injuries. Was banged up but played through it. Injuries are part of it. When you play as physical as George Kittle does, which he's the most physical player out there. But the 49ers gave him an extension, and I love it. A 4-year, $76.4 million deal, $18 million signing bonus, $35 million fully guaranteed. So you look at the cap hits, not astronomical, to be honest with you. All manageable, but does carry 4 void years after the contract expires. Now, keep in mind, he's 31. So you have now signed George Kittle through, it was an extension. He had 1 year left on his deal. So you're thinking this guy's going to play till 35, 36. Man, I sure as hell hope so. He'll be rewriting a lot of the history books if that's the case. His cap hits each year. 2026, next year, $16.2 million. 2027, $17.7 million. 2028, $18.8 million. And 2029, $20.3 million. Like, manageable. Tight ends are so devalued that, dude, this contract is not going to hurt you. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk's got back-to-back years with over $44 million cap hits. Like, that is, all right, let's see what's going to happen. This is relatively, cap-friendly deal. The 4 void years will hurt, no doubt about it. The last year George Kittle counts against the 49ers salary cap, 2033. So it's going to be a minute. But his career earnings, $82 million. That's freaking, I love it, man. That's generational wealth for somebody that's going to spend it and help others. And I'm not saying he doesn't live a luxurious lifestyle, but this dude's given a lot back to the sport and the community and just does so much, what he does for the veteran community. And dude's off the freaking charts, amazing. I freaking love him. So what's next? I really, really hope that he can get to the point where we're talking about him with the all-time greats. I think he's going to the Hall of Fame. He's got to get another All-Pro, got to get a ring, got to add some more Pro Bowls. I think with what he does off the field, sadly, because, again, sports writers are the ones that determine Hall of Fame, the off-the-field stuff will carry him in. But I don't want George Kittle to be a guy that gets in 10 to 15 years after his NFL career's done. First ballot Hall of Famer makes sense. There is a logjam at the tight end position, though. There are a lot of guys ahead of him that have, waited their turn to get in. Guys like Jason Witten, Greg Olsen. Like, there are some guys there. Antonio Gates just got in this year, which is awesome. But George Kittle needs to be in the freaking Hall of Fame. I want him to be a first ballot type guy. And, he's still got time. He's signed for 5 years. So why not? And again, go back to this. I know he's 31. But just last year, okay, let's look at his ranks. This is out of 37 starting tight ends that qualify on stats, okay? PFF scores, 92.1 overall grade, first among all tight ends. All these ranks are out of the top 37 that qualified with snaps. Receiving grade, 92.4, first. Targets, 5th most targets with 92. Receptions, 78 receptions, 5th most. Receiving yards, 3rd most, 1,106 yards. Touchdowns, 8, 2nd most. Yards per catch, 14.2, first. Yards after contact, 6.6, 2nd best. Passer rating when targeted, 136.7, 2nd best. Average depth of target, 4th, 8.9. He's the best, period. Run blocking, check. Pass, check. Pass blocking, check. And Luke Farrell can only make it better because now George Kittle blocked like 60-plus pass snaps last year. Dude, get that dude out on a route. We just talked about how effective he is. The Luke Farrell signing is going to help him get more involved in the pass reception part of the game. And I think that's huge, especially with the wide receiver turmoil. Good Lord. Especially early in the season. So I'm so pumped. Let's go get that All-Pro. Add 2 more Pro Bowls. If he has 2 more Pro Bowl seasons, he's a lock for the Hall of Fame. But I want him to be a first ballot Hall of Fame in this 2025 season. George Kittle can kind of stamp that and seal that with an All-Pro. Go get a ring. That'd be awesome. But I love this man. By far one of the fan favorites and one of my favorite players I've ever seen play. Love the passion. Love everything he is. Thank you, Josh, executive producer of today's show. And for us, the 49ers Rush team, top 5's next. Keep counting them down.